Hi friends, I thought today I will tell an unusual story in an unusual venue about an unusual occurrence. So I have been up the entire night. I feel fairly delirious, but and there's been a lot of adrenaline and some might say stress, etc. There was the festival last night and I had a booth getting to help educate people about essential oils, and it was wonderful. And I got to throw in some of my, glitter that I love so much. And often that makes people want to come over and talk. And then I got home and came to find my mother needed to go to the emergency room again. And then once she got there, they actually had to transfer her to a much larger hospital in the city because they have some special MRI machine there. And then I came back and was trying to clean up her room and things that she hadn't had a chance to get to in her discomfort. And even though I was trying to keep my worry to a minimum and that kind of thing, I just felt like I couldn't just go take a shower, relax, and get to bed. So I, did that. And then I thought about going to eat at this place that I went one other time, and they're a very, 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 very before the crack of dawn, early kind of place, and I am not, and I must stay up until early as opposed to get up early person. But anyway, so debating for a while if I should go there or not. And then when I went there, I actually saw someone who looked kind of familiar, who then happened to be here doing some lawn stuff. So I talked for a little bit, and it turned out he had been there, so that was cool. And I was asking if he's ever had interesting or crazy stories on the job, like running over a ground bee's nest and being swarmed or something. He's like, oh, I've got a ton of them. And I was like, oh, that'd be a great YouTube channel video. And he agreed. So I went in to try to enjoy some of the nibblings that I had procured. And then I was like, it's in my nature to sit and think and think and think about all the questions I could ask or how to do that video kind of interview, and try to make it, closer to perfect and stuff. And because he's often here very, 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 very early, sometimes waking me up, I realized I'm not often up at this hour. And I think that being this tired kind of almost helped. And also kind of the urgency of knowing my time window for that is slipping away. So I went down to get this very camera, and I usually keep a memory card in it, and it wasn't there. And I changed the battery just to make sure it was a fresh one. Then ran up and thankfully found a memory card that had space on it. And then went running out, and I'm like, I have another question. Do you think I could do maybe like a 5-minute video? Maybe I should have said like 1, 2, or 3-minute video, because even if it took 5 minutes. But so it was before 8 o'clock, and he's like, oh, I have to meet some new customers at noon. So he must have a few more stops in between now and then. Maybe, I'd already talked to him earlier, and that ate into a few minutes of time. So he's like, oh, I'll catch you later. So hopefully I'll be awake and around and notice one of the next times he's here, because I think those could be cool stories. And I like talking to my acupuncturist about things that she can teach. And I feel like, you see someone, let's say, mowing the lawn, you think that that's the extent of their job, but you have no idea all these behind the scenes things that go on and all the stories that can come up. And everybody's got interesting things to say, and I like to talk to them about it. And if I'm going to talk to them about it anyway, why not share that with the world? I remember I was on a train going to New York City with a friend for this event. And a new friend was kind of train pooling with us, who was going to optometry school or ophthalmology school. I kind of mix those up often. The one that would be a doctor. And I was asking him questions about different things, but I don't have astigmatism, and I was asking him a bunch of questions about astigmatism. And then my good friend said, "You're the Maven." And I'm like, "Thanks? What does that mean?" And he told me about the book, The Tipping Point, which I then read quite quickly with my ears, that the Maven is someone who just loves to gather information, even when they can't use it. Because when they know that information, they can help other people with that information, and they just like to know things. And what was so funny is in the book, it said, here's how you'll know a Maven. There's a number on the back of Dove soap, a phone number, and they know pretty much no one's ever going to call that number, except the Maven is going to call, and they're going to ask them questions about that soap. Many questions and many things, and they're happy to talk to them because they know that the friends of the Maven know that the Maven has solid information and is always gathering this kind of thing, and they can trust them, and they know that they have kind of a fountain of information. So the Maven is kind of like, before Amazon reviews, it's like the one who knows things, the go-to. And so the companies, again, they put this number knowing they're not going to get bombarded by calls. Hardly anyone's ever going to call. But the Maven is, and they want the Maven to call and then dispense that information to their friends and whatnot. And when I remember hearing that, I started laughing. It hadn't been that long since I had called a hummus company to ask them questions of varying detail. And it was funny how they just kind of talked to me happily. And I love the companies, like, there's a phone case company that I love that you don't feel like they're trying to rush you off the phone, and they will tell you their personal stories about the case. And that's another thing I love about doTERRA customer service. I don't even know if I've shared my record-long calls, but they're amazing. Almost all the customer service people, they love working there. You can tell they love the oils. They love talking to you. They're friendly. You don't feel like you're burdening them or bothering them. And I think that's very important. And I think that's the kind of customer service I want to deal with. And if their customer service reps are like that, it makes me think the company cares about me if they care about their customer reps helping me to feel like they care about me. So that's important. And especially as a Maven, that kind of like hits deeper, I guess. So what was my thesis, or one of the many ones? So I think part of my point was, because I'm like delirious tired, I think part of that helped me just take action. Because normally I think. What could I do? How can I make it better? How can I plan? But the urgency of him leaving and knowing I might not get this chance again for a while helped me to just go ahead and do it. And I think also being tired helped me to, get out of my think. Oh, no, wait, let me think first kind of mode. And there was something else with that. It's just a handy thing to have. Oh, I like working under pressure. And then, like when I've had to run groups, when I was doing one of my trainings, I seemed to thrive when I was given 15 minutes. Hey, can you run my group? And like, here's a worksheet thing, and then just thrown into it and go. I did great, and it felt great. Whereas if I had like a week to prepare, that's when what I call my perfectionist tendencies would kick in. And that's like stressful. And all those times I could just be going and doing things and doing a great job. But instead, almost too much time to plan is like too much time to kind of worry, and some people would call it overthink, and over plan when it's not even necessary. Like people, if you could do 10 workshops in that time and help the participants in all those 10 groups, you're making a greater impact than planning for just one group that you plan for. You're only helping a small amount of people. And it kind of makes you think of the 80-20 rule. If I'm doing 80% of awesome, like as awesome as I could possibly do, for a larger group, I'm helping more people in more ways than if I did 99% but just for a much smaller group. So I'm really trying to implement the 80-20 thing a lot more, and to just take action and do. And thinking's great, and I love my ideas, but that'll always be there. I need to work on the action. So that's one of my things I'm kind of long-term working on. Worked out. I tried the action step. Didn't come to full fruition, but gonna keep trying. And I ended up, last night I talked to a police officer, kind of did taking action. I offered him oils and Deep Blue and asked him about doing workshops with them. I would love to help out our protectors, our law enforcement. I'd love to help out our military and fire people and help them support their health and just get in there and do it. I mean, can you imagine a fireman? Like, they plan and they practice, but can you imagine them, like, taking 20 minutes to just, like, think first about how they're going to put out the fire? You train, you plan, and then when you get to the fire, you do. So maybe I need to think more like a firewoman. That's something to think about, isn't it? Well, I'm off to sleep, I think. Hope you have a great week. Love you. Bye.